Today we're going to find out what wines pair with fur. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent, and we're on an unfiltered, unapologetically unprofessional wine journey. And we're saying here, Jace.
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So let's chat about thoughts of the week. I'll go first. I've been thinking about how can we make it easier to find good wineries. And
good thought.
It's a good thought. I've been inspired through a discussion with Mark Maloof, and we were having a chat about when you find a good wine, find out who made the wine, and then go try out the wines that winemaker has also produced. And it reminded me of what I used to do when I used to find music and musical artists.
I thought it was going to be authors or books.
Music.
Like Roald Dahl or something like that.
No, you could probably adopt the same concept, but it's very similar. Back in the heyday when there was cassette tapes and CDs, do you remember that?
I don't know. I'm younger than that.
You're younger than that. Back then, you'd be able to look at the back of the cassette tape or the CD, and there'd be some credits. And in particular, what you'd see is who's the music producer. And that's how I used to find new musical artists.
So it's Puff Daddy.
So Puff Daddy, let's not talk about him. It's probably not the right timings to talk about. Let's choose someone else. But like, if I wanted to find out new music, I wouldn't just go to the top 40. I'd go to the back of the CD label, find out who made that, and if I like the songs, I'd look for other music producers that produce that song. So let me give you an example. There was a song from Nelly, "Hot in Here." Remember that? Yeah. That shows the age. That was produced by.
Sorry, I don't remember that one.
That was produced by Pharrell Williams.
Yeah.
He was actually part of a music production group before he was famous with his fashion and movies and so forth, called the Neptunes. And so what I would do is I'd go online and I'd go, who else, what other songs were made by the Neptunes? And I'd choose those. And so that's how I came to find other songs like the Clips Neptunes produced one of their songs called Grindin'. There was Khalees as well, Caught Out Here. She also did a song by the Neptunes. I really loved that style. But it was kind of a way where I knew if he was making great quality music, usually the songs and the artists that he'd work with would produce some good hits. So similar concept to wine is what we thought. And Mark was saying, search out for the good winemakers and try their different wines. Like he always talks about Doug Neal.
Yeah.
He always talks about him. And, Doug Neal, we tried his wine with Mark, the Shiraz. What was it?
Paradise 4.
It was Paradise 4. He created one. Altera Terra. He created the Shiraz. He's worked for Giaconda. So you kind of know if that's the winemaker and the level of quality that they're creating, you're probably going to get a good wine from them. Doug Neal also makes one with Gaffey and Neal, I think, a Chardonnay, so to me, I'm like, why don't we give that a crack? Yeah. You're probably going to be assured it's going to be a good quality wine. Similar, we had a chat to Liz Silkman. She has Silkman wines with her husband. All of the range that we tried was really good, but she's the chief winemaker for First Creek. So why don't we try First Creek wines? And then she's also making wines for Tulloch. So similar concept. Their wines are probably going to be good. Let's go try those.
Yeah, I think depends on how you look at it. Like I think for the First Creek one could be they're making it for certain people that are asking for a certain style, whereas maybe Doug's slightly different in terms of he's making to the style that he wants to make. Yeah. So again, it's slightly different in terms of how I see it. But yeah, I take your point. If they're a good winemaker, they should be making fantastic wine wherever they are.
Yeah. So that's another way to find out good wineries and try other wines. Go by the winemaker. I was looking at it. There's not an easy way to find out all of the wines that a certain winemaker produced. Are you aware of like a source of this information?
No, I feel like it's like more like people in the know. You look at the back of wine bottles, it doesn't say made by whoever.
Yeah. Why doesn't it? Like, why don't we make it easier? Like, I could go online and I could get the discography for the Neptunes and I'd know every single song that they produced.
I think it's a case of the winemaker isn't bigger than the label itself.
Yeah.
And therefore they push the label first rather than the winemaker.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, is Nelly more bigger than the Neptunes? The label, the artists themselves is still quite big.
Yeah.
But I think maybe there's something that we could, or that the industry could look at there to kind of make it more easier. So that's what I was thinking about. How can we discover wines and wineries like we do in discovering musical artists? What have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking, had this light bulb moment, and I'm going to talk about wine globes.
Wine globe. What is that?
Oh, what is that? Look, I'll show a picture first, and we'll be posting it up. It actually looks like light globes for wine. So I heard about this in another podcast, and basically it's experimentation to the next level. You know, there's steel vats, there's concrete vats, there's amphoras, there's wood oak vats as well, and now they're looking at glass, which is these giant wine globes. So they can store like 115 to about 400 litres in these wine globes. And the idea behind this is that it's glass, it's oxygen proof, right? It's not allowing any oxygen coming in and out. It's impermeable. It is a spherical shape as well. So it says that wine can stay in a constant motion.
Yeah.
And there's other benefits as well. It says that it has good thermal conductivity, similar to concrete. So that's for good temperature stability.
Yeah.
It's clear as well, so you can actually see how the lees are working in it. You can see malolactic fermentation happening within the wines as well and make correct calls and judgments. And also because it's glass and there's no requirement to top up, it means that there's also decreased use of SO2 or sulfites as required. And it's a 25 to 50% reduction.
No need to top up because it's not evaporating, is that
correct?
Yeah, okay.
And then the other one is around, it's just easy to clean hygiene-wise, right? It's glass rather than wood. Yeah. You can see what it is. And the reason why people are turning towards this one, the ones I showed there was in Meursault, so Burgundy, is that it says that it provides natural features of the fruit, vineyard, and terroir, are exposed in a way that completely distinctive, unique, and produces wines of purity and perfume. So for me, it feels like you're not adding anything to it. It's trying to be focused on the land, on the terroir, the climate, the topography of that wine. Yeah. I don't know what wineries are actually using these wine globes, but obviously there's a market for it. So keen to hear from the community on which wines actually use these wine globes and what have you noticed in terms of does this work and what difference does it make?
That's super. Have you heard of anyone in Australia using it?
I know they distribute in Australia, but I don't know specifically which wines.
Yeah, let's find out. All right.
Let us know.
Awesome. So let's jump to the episode, and right in front of us, we've got quite a colourful display. We've got fur.
Faux?
Fur.
Faux?
Fur.
Fur?
Which is probably one of the things to discuss about pronunciation. But today we're going to try and find out what wines pair with fur. And pronunciation is an interesting thing. So, like, obviously I'm not a Vietnamese background. I don't have a Vietnamese background. You're not Vietnamese.
No, I'm not.
You pronounce it fur? Is that how you pronounce it?
I pronounce it fur now that, you've been in the Asian community, you hear a lot more. Initially when I first saw it, I did think it was faux.
Yes.
But then
PHO, yeah.
But then realised that now I'm like in the in crowd. I call it fur instead.
You're in the in crowd.
Yeah.
You've been to Vietnam, so you would have heard them pronouncing it quite often.
But the fur here in Australia is better than the ones in Vietnam.
Wow. Let us know if that's the case. I hope there's no Vietnamese listeners from Vietnam.
They agree as well, because basically the quality of the beef bones is better in Australia than it is in Vietnam. That's why.
There you go. That's the reason why. So pronunciation, it's not faux. It's
pronunciation as well.
Or the pronunciation, it's FO. It's PHO, but it's not FOH, right?
Correct.
It's FUH for anyone that needs to know. And I was talking to a few Vietnamese people.
I'm completely confused now.
In terms of pronunciation. You got it?
Got it.
Yeah. I was talking to a few Vietnamese people 2 days ago, and I was asking them how they pronounce it. And they say you need to pronounce it like you're asking a question at the end. So there's a little accent at the end. Can I try? Give it a go.
Fur?
Yes. But I don't know if the facial expression is appropriate. Fur? Yeah. There's a little incline that goes up. So if you want to give that a try, also try it. But to be honest, I didn't have it until very late in my life. Like, I wasn't having it as a kid. It wasn't something very commonly had. When was the first time you were having fur?
Oh, must have been, I reckon, around high school, uni days. Flemington fur was the thing to do.
Okay. How did that get introduced? You had some Vietnamese friends, or?
I think it was my then girlfriend and then now wife. I think.
Yes. She was Vietnamese, but you're married to a non-Vietnamese.
Oh, the mother-in-law's Vietnamese.
Oh, okay. That's why. Got it. Yeah, it was really late on. It was the same for me. It was in uni days that I was trying that. But to me, it's like, it's one of my favorite dishes. I would probably have it at least once a month.
Yeah. And the Vietnamese have it like breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well.
They have it for which is really weird because, to be honest, I don't have it for breakfast typically. Typically, I'm having it for dinner. But it's a bit of history around it. So it's Vietnam's national dish, and it was created when it was the peak of French colonialism. And during that time, apparently there was a fair bit of demand for beef, and then you'd have a whole heap of beef bones that would be laying around. And so the Vietnamese and the Chinese would throw that in their soup to add more depth. And that's how it started, and then it spread worldwide, and became Vietnam's national dish. Now, in front of us, I might just talk through what it is, and maybe we could hold this up. I don't know if we can. Let's give this a try. You could probably see it on the camera. Ooh, it's got a spill down there. Don't worry about that. Extra flavor. But it's a beef noodle soup. You could also have it as a chicken base, and it's got the real star of the show is the beef broth itself. Yeah. And I feel like you've made it. Have you made this before?
I made it, but poorly. And it requires a lot of effort, and also second thing is a lot of time. Yeah, as well.
Typically, what's in it? Do you remember what you were putting in?
It's like charred onions, cardamom seeds, cloves, cinnamon. Beef bones, all different types of beef bones as well into it. Yeah. And then, cook it through as a stock, and then...
You've got most of it, and the star anise is probably the highlight for it as well. So really complex set of flavors with it. So that's the broth, and then it comes with these fantastic rice noodles, and then you've got meats, and there's different varying meats that you can include. The standard one you can have is just sliced raw beef, but you can get a bit creative and you can throw in some tripe. I like to have mine with some of the meatballs in there as well. What else you can have then there? You can have some...
Tendons?
Tendons as well. Yes, perfect. So that's kind of the soup itself. And then you've got a variety of toppings and side parts that you can add. And in front of us, we've got bean sprouts, we've got mint, we've got lime, and then a selection of sauces as well. You've got hoisin sauce and some chili sauce. So it's kind of a base soup, but you can make your own adventure. Yeah. And add the different varying levels of toppings that you like to add.
So the one we went for today is I call it was probably like the pho with a lot. Yeah. Which is called the pho. I have to say it properly now. The pho đặc biệt.
Oh, you sound Vietnamese. Far out. Yeah, what's that?
Which I think is mean like special pho, which has like the tripe, the beef tendons, the beef balls, the beef in it as well. Basically everything into it, and that's the full experience.
And the beef balls aren't the testicles, right? You're talking about something else.
If you want it that way, then you can have it that way as well.
All right. But you're not having it with the testicles. No. Good. So it's quite a great dish, and I would typically have this for dinner. And you can have it in any weather, but like you were saying, in Vietnam, they'd have this for breakfast at points, which is interesting.
I think the controversy, though, is like with the sauce is the hoisin sauce. Yeah. Do you use it for dipping, or do you put it into the soup?
So I use it for dipping. Yeah. Is typically the way I'd have it. What do you do? Do you chuck it in the soup?
I'm a dipper, but I've heard that the traditional way is to get the squeezy hoisin sauce and just squeeze it into your
Really?
But then I feel that kind of like disrupts the balance of flavors of it.
Yeah, like, they put in so much effort in making that broth, and then you add the hoisin.
It's like adding tomato sauce to everything and just ruin all the chef's hard work to get that balance right.
That's right. So that's how you typically have it. In terms of condiments, maybe let's add some in. Yeah. So, how much do you typically have sprouts? My family, particularly my daughters, they hate the sprouts, so they never add it in. And also, some people ask for cooked sprouts.
Yeah. I think so. I don't mind cooked sprouts. Yeah. But I do like the herbs in it. Like you go to some of the places in Bankstown, they just lump you this plate of fresh mint, Vietnamese mint, lemon, bean sprouts, you just kind of load it on top. And it's just so fragrant and herbal.
So these are the sprouts here. And the table, you can see it. Let's not spill any of that.
So is pho one of your go-to dishes, though, Jay?
It is. It's kind of a monthly dish, at least, that we would have. And we live close to a Vietnamese community. So in Canley Heights, we always go to a place called Pho Lam, which is our favorite go-to place. And this might be something argued among Sydney. Where do they make the best pho? Where do you get yours?
The one that I've been going to is just near work, which is called Eat Pho.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
But the one that's known by everyone's in Bankstown called Pho An.
Yes. What do you reckon?
Oh, it's really good. It's like a fast food McDonald's, but for pho. But the thing is that they only take cash only. So very Asian of them.
Yes.
And these days, everyone's going cashless. So it makes it a bit difficult sometimes.
I actually think that is the best pho. And people have said they're probably putting some secret ingredients in there. It's probably just a bit of that yum MSG more than anything else.
With a yum.
That's right. But that is my favorite.
Let us know where the best pho is in Sydney as well.
Yeah. And so today we wanted to find out what wine best pairs with the pho. And so we might introduce the wines itself. So we've got two in front of us. Which one did you want to go with? You want to go
with your one first.
We'll go with the Riesling. So let me hold this up to the screen. It's a Frankland Estate 2023 Riesling from the Great Southern. And I got to thank Torre from the Carlingford Cellars in regards to this. Great recommendation and absolutely think people should visit out. He's great to have sponsored this wine, but also have a chat to him because he's got 20 years of experience within the industry. Can definitely recommend you some good pairings. Now, you're going to tuck into that, and I might just explain why I went through this Riesling. As you did that, you did a face like it's going to work or not going to work. Let's not forecast it. Let's not forecast it.
The thing I should show as well, though, is like, this is the tripe. You can see that one. And then these are like the little beef tendons as well. And these are like this gelatinous kind of chewy jelly kind of ones that like that bit of texture to it. It might sound awful, but it's actually quite tasty.
So the Riesling, why did I go with Riesling, right? Yeah. We talked about it earlier. In Hanoi, they're typically having pho on a morning. And I'm imagining that being quite humid and hot. You want something light, refreshing, which is why I was swaying towards more of a white wine. In addition to that, there's so many different flavors in this. We mentioned the broth itself. It's quite complex. It's got all of those spices. The bone broth's been simmering for some time. Then you chuck on even more levels of flavor with the sprouts, the mint, the lime and citrus itself. So you needed some citrus to kind of cut through that, which Riesling typically has. And then you needed something high acid. Again, you're having a warm soup, so the acidity should kind of cool you down, refresh the palate. What do you think? You've had some.
I think with this Frankland Estate, it's not the kind of like ripping acidity type of Riesling. It's more medium acidity. Lemon pith, smells sweet, but it's not sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that the fur kind of overpowers the Riesling in this case. Like it feels like it needs a bit more of that backbone of acidity to really hold up to the intense flavors and the aromats of the fur.
Yeah.
So it's okay, but it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, I think it does need more acidity to kind of clean that all out. Completely agree. I just had to buy it itself. And you know, different to other kind of Rieslings we had, Clare Valley quite known for that ripping acidity that would be going for. Maybe it might be different. It's not a bad pairing, but I don't think it improves it in any way.
Are you give scores now or give it after my one?
No, I think let's go scores now. Corkscrew rating.
Corkscrew ratings, I would give it a 5 out of 10.
That's pretty harsh.
In the middle. It's in the middle.
Yeah. I'm having another go. The wine itself, I really like, I got to say. It is different to those Clare Valley Rieslings. To me, it's a lot more subtle and balanced across all of the different dimensions. And it's a bit more medium body and a fair bit of that chalkiness I think coming through.
Yeah, and that's again, by itself, I think it's really good. I like it with, again, like melon prosciutto or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fantastic combination. I don't think it's the best pairing to go together. I'd probably give that a 6 out of 10. Really enjoyed the wine. Doesn't really lift it up in any way. Something with a bit more acidity would probably be good. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, so I went for this Albarino by Marques de Murrieta, Pazito, Barrantes, Albarino, from the Ries Baixas area. The reason why I went for this one is, I did my research. I went to this website called drinkandpair.com.
Yep.
So it looks like the authoritative source for kind of drink and pairing with food. And had said best wine with furbo, which is like beef fur. And they gave it a star rating, which made it really easy. So there was like 6 or 7 wines that had a 4-star rating. This was Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir, a Ribera del Duero white wine, a Chablis, a Beaujolais Cru, a Albarino, and a Rosé would have been good. The Riesling was like a 3.5 star, so that's why I think this one would probably edge it out based on the star rating here. And the reason I went for the Albarino is I felt like something different. I haven't had much Albarino. I don't think I had any Albarino in my drinking career thus far, so I want to try something different. So the reason why they said it was going to be good is that it has peach, apricot, apples, melon, citrus, and flowers that characterize Spanish Albarino. It has a creamy mouthfeel similar to Chardonnay. And unlike Chardonnay, it has rarely aged in oak, so there's no vanilla flavors that conflict with the Furbo.
Yeah.
The citrus flavors of the Albarino pair beautifully with the lime juice squeezed into the Furbo, and the creamy texture of the Albarino complements Furbo's rich flavors. What do you think? How did the website go?
Wine pair, what is it? What's the website called?
drinkandpair.com.
I think it went well. I think it is a good pairing, but I'm curious because I'm not getting ripping acidity for this, and that's not what I was looking for. That's why I was saying maybe in the Riesling is what required, but it's not. It still balances out quite well. It's quite, I don't know, it kind of calms down the palate more than anything else, which is, I don't know, I think that works with it.
Yeah. I know. What are you feeling? How's it working? How's it not working?
I'm trying to think it through, to be honest. It's got this kind of lanolin kind of feel to it, and in terms of, you know, with the Spanish wines, it's got this kind of oily kind of texture, so it's got a bit of volume to it. But it's not sharp flavors that are coming out. It's not like a really strong hit of citrus. It's really calm and subdued, which doesn't overpower any of the fur, which I think is what's working.
I think especially compared to the Riesling, where it has that kind of lemon pith, that kind of bitterness to it. This one, this feels a bit more rounded.
Yeah.
They really balance out towards the kind of richness of the fur itself. And then it has that kind of saltiness that kind of really kind of just matches up to that kind of sweetness and saltiness of the fur. It kind of just feels very balanced. It just feels balanced.
Yeah. You used the word, I think they described it as a bit creamy.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that would work, but for some reason, my mouth feels good with a bit of creaminess in there.
The other notes I had before when I tried it by itself, it has like this kind of coriander herbal kind of taste to it. Obviously, like fresh herbs with the fur goes really nice as well. And it's kind of hinted at this kind of like green apple, this kind of tart acidity that really just perfect. You know, like that kind of like that squeeze of lemon, be it like on a Thai, pad Thai or something like that. It just really just cuts through and just balance everything out.
It's really interesting because I have had a couple of Albarinos before, and I've always walked away not enjoying them on their own. I've always felt that they were so saline. It was so overpowering, and there was this kind of like some zest from some citrus. The skin of it had this kind of level of bitterness, but I'm not kind of bringing the two together. They're not overpowering each other. I think they work quite well. Well done.
Corkscrews, man.
Corkscrew, I'd give that an 8 out of 10 corkscrews. I think they definitely work well together.
I think that works fantastically well together. 8 out of 10 for me as well.
Awesome. So there you go. We've tried a couple of wines with some Vietnamese fur. Hopefully we're pronouncing that correctly.
For real.
For real. We had a Riesling, didn't hit the spot, but we did have Albarino.
Albarino.
Yeah. A bit of Spanish accent there. And that worked well a treat. Did you have any last comments?
Again, try different things. You know, I was going to try a Sauvignon Blanc as well.
Yeah.
I think that kind of grassiness, herbal nature would also really work well with the fur.
Yeah.
Again, try different things, taste different things, and enjoy wine. Have fun with wine.
Let us know what you would pair with some Vietnamese beef noodle soup, some pho in the comments below. That's us at The Wind Up. As we like to say here, drink more, try more, learn more.
See ya.